What's up, snake fans? Dave Palumbo here for Muscle Serpents Daily. And you know what? As promised, you guys wanted to know what rack systems I use, what cages I use, what do I keep my animals in. So let's go into my snake room and I'm going to show you, because I have a hodgepodge potpourri of everything, and there's a reason behind having this and that. I kind of like the diversity of putting certain animals in certain cages and tubs, and I'll let you know what my logic is, why I do it. Maybe you guys will find it useful. Maybe you guys will give me some hints of your own. Come on in. When I started off my collection, the first rack I ever bought was a Vision V70 tub rack. It's 11 levels, and basically it's what they call a V70 tub. This is what you would put an adult ball python in. You could probably keep an adult male carpet python in here, and I keep my adult boas in here actually as well, the males. And this is a very versatile tub. It's easy to clean. Once again, it comes in all plastic. You can take these plastic outside, you can hose them down. I use, or it comes with, I should say, heat cabling in the back. So if you want to just take a look here, there's cables. A lot of people, some people hate them, some people love them, and they basically just kind of twist around here, and these tubs sit on top of the heat cabling and will create a hot spot basically. It's pretty easy to take care of. You hook it up to a thermostat, no big deal. All right, so this was the first thing I used, and I found it very versatile, and I really liked it a lot. I liked it so much so, and they're pretty cheap. You got to put them together when they come, which is a little bit of a pain in the neck, but it's pretty easy. It's just a matter of just doing it. And then I got a lot of these, as you can see. And when my boas that I had bought started getting big, and I needed to figure out where to put the females, I actually talked to Vin Russo, who's a boa breeder, and he really liked the Vision Boa Racks. So I got the Vision Boa Racks, and they're basically just a bigger version of the other racks that I showed you. And there's a lot of room in these things. I'll open up an empty one here. As you can see, plenty of room for an adult female boa to live in here. They pull out, you can easily clean them. The tubs come completely out easily, so if you want to take the whole and take them outside and hose them off, no big deal. So this was really good. But then, I started, doing research, and I started saying, well, I want to see what else is out there. And a couple, every once in a while, you see people listing used cages for sale. Because, look, I have money. I could buy stuff. I could buy new stuff if I want, but I don't like to spend money unnecessarily. I'd rather buy more animals if I'm going to spend my money. So if I see a good deal or someone selling some old racks, I don't care if they're not absolutely perfect. I'll take advantage of that. I'll clean them up myself, and that's exactly what I did with these Freedom Breeder racks. These are Freedom Breeder 4-foot drawers, essentially, that they pull out, as you can see, and you put a lot of people keep their adult female boas in there. This is an adult female boa. She's not full grown, obviously. She's on the smaller side, but she fits amazing in here. A big boa, I can show you another cage in a minute. They fit absolutely perfect in here. It's easy to clean. They're drawers. They're ventilated really well. As you can see, they're all vented on the top. So there's plenty of circulation in here, and they just slide in and out. And once again, these are not in perfect condition. There's a few rust spots here and there, but it doesn't matter to me because I clean them up. They work. They're functional. I'm not inviting guests over and trying to impress anyone here. So I have a bunch of these Freedom Breeders that I bought. I really like them a lot. Maybe one day I will buy some new ones, because if I have to expand, then they're not available. And I was very, very happy with the way they came out. These are actually almost like, I would call them intermediates between a V70 tub and a Freedom Breeder 4-foot. This is only, I believe, a 3-foot. And once again, this is good for your grow-up boas or your dwarf boas. Fit really nice in these racks. This is my Paradigm Blood female here, who's growing up. I've shown her off before. Love that girl. So this is really, really convenient as well. I got this because someone was selling it, once again, a friend of mine, and I just said, you know what? I might as well grab one. Can't hurt. It's great for the dwarf boas. And what I said to myself now is I said, well, all right, what am I going to do when I have babies? Okay, so let me come into the baby room and show you what my solution was that I came up with. All right, today's feeding day here, so I got some rats and mice around here. But these are Visions, okay? As you can see, there's a lot of little slots here, and these are small. and this is about as big as I would go in here. This is a 1.5-year-old ball python. Ball pythons like the small spaces, but most of the time I put little ones there. Easy to clean. Once again, there's a lot of them. You go 4 across, and you go, I forget how many down there was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 16 down. You do the math. There's 64 slots here. That's a lot. You can put a lot of baby ball pythons, baby boas, baby carpets in there. So I have 2 of those, okay? And to me, I like these a lot. They're easy to work with, okay? They're not the biggest tubs. And you could actually put smaller tubs. And if you look up here, you could put 3 of these in place of 2 of these. So when I get desperate and I need more room, I could actually swap out these small little trays. And these are really tiny. But these are really good for the baby carpet pythons because baby carpet pythons are really tiny. So they go really well in here. And they actually like the fact that it's kind of small. So this seems like the ideal situation, but then I got spoiled and I said, you know what? I want a baby rack that has a little more room so I can grow my babies up and I don't necessarily have to transfer them right into a bigger tub. So I went with ARS makes a really nice, these are the new hybrid racks. They're made with less material, they're way lighter. You have to put them together, and there's 1,000 parts in them, but when it's all said and done, these are really nice sliding drawers, and you can see that this is a much bigger drawer than, say, the one that was in the Vision rack. So a lot more room. They have the water bowl space here. You put the water bowls. If you look at, see, the water bowl goes right in here. You could use a little deli cup, a half deli cup. You put your little hide box, and you can keep a ball python in here for quite a long period of time. This is a nice space, because they don't want room. They like hiding, and so you could really use these as grow up. So the reason I got this and didn't stick with Vision exclusively is because I use these now for my holdbacks. I can keep them in here for a much longer period of time before having to transfer them to a bigger rack. Now, where do they go from the baby rack? So they go from the Visions into here, if I'm keeping them, and then from here, they're gonna go to what's called a Vision V35. So it's half 35 is half of 70 is 35. V35 is half of what the initial Vision rack I showed you was, and this is what I use for my male ball pythons and grow up. This is a grow up carpet python in here that's right now, but this is great for that intermediate phase when the female ball pythons can't stay in the baby racks anymore, but they're not ready necessarily for a V70. They go in here. All my male ball pythons live their whole life in here because I keep them small, and this is more than adequate. And as you can see, it's the same rack. This is the same rack as the Vision one that had 11 slots, except now I have 22 slots because I got 2 tubs per level instead of 1. So once again, makes sense. If you look at the dollars and cents and how much you spend, you get a lot for your money with Vision. Do I like ARS and Freedom Breeders better? They're higher quality, they slide nicer, they have a little more room, but they're a lot more expensive. So it depends on what your budget is. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. They all function exactly the same, okay? It's just our egos that might want one or the other. I like the option of having different stuff in my room, and once again, I always keep my eye open for stuff that's being sold, someone's selling the collection, and I might pick up their older cages because now I have options and I can move things around. All right, I want to show you my cage now. These are all the racks. Now I have to show cages. All right, now for cages, I like to put my carpet pythons and Burmese pythons and olive pythons in cages. The Australian pythons seem to like the cages because they're higher, they have more room, they like to look out. I like to see them because they move around a lot, they climb. So I put my carpets, my olive pythons, and the Burms in cages. Vision makes a great cage. It's a little on the expensive side, but they're indestructible, these things. These are 4-foot cages that have nice height to them. I have my carpets in there. You can see my breeding pair of albino zebras are in there. Plenty of room. They can move around. They seem to do better when they're not crammed in a little tub. The carpet pythons just like it because they move around in nature. They're not like ball pythons that like to be in tight spaces. Ball pythons live in termite mounds. So I have a bunch of these. I have 3 here, and I have in my other room, my cold room, I have a stack of 4. And then and these carpet pythons can live their whole life in here. Even the male olive pythons, you can get away with squeezing them into one of these their whole life, and it shouldn't be too bad. But I want to show you what I put the bigger snakes in, the adult olive pythons and the Burmese pythons. They need bigger caging. They need 6-foot cages. Let me show you what Vision's got available. You want to shoot this way?
I will.
Okay. All right, these are the 6-foot cages, okay? This is the biggest 6-foot cage they make. It's 6 feet long, but it's got a lot of depth through it. I can't remember exactly how many feet the depth is. As you can see, it sticks out further than these. These are 6-foot cages that are not quite as wide, okay? And they're not as high. So this is a bigger cage. I put these on the bottom. You really can't stack 4 big cages on top of each other. That's a lot of weight, and it's almost impossible to get in there and clean them. So I put the smaller ones on top, which case I can keep my male Burmese pythons in here for life, and probably my olive pythons in here for life. If you look at the top one, I actually have a boa in there. That's my biggest boa I have. This girl is so big that I said, yeah, you know what, I got an empty cage. I'll let you have a little bit more room than normally. Normally I would have her in one of the Freedom Breeders or the boa tubs. But she's hanging out in there now because the cage is empty. At some point she might have to go back in if I have a Burmese python that needs to go in there. Now the bottom cages are huge. So if you look in the bottom cage, I have my breeding pair of Burmese pythons in there. One of the females, my big mama, lives in that one, and she's not even that big yet, but she can probably live most of her life in that, as long as I don't overfeed her, which I don't overfeed my Burms. And my olive python female is normally in one of these cages as well, because she's big. She's over 10 feet. She's almost 11 feet. She's not as thick as a Burmese python, but she needs to move around because she's so long, she needs to extend her body. She lives in here normally. Right now I have her in the cold room. As you guys probably know from former videos, I'm trying to cool her down, but she will go back in one of these Vision cages and live her whole life here. And she, like I said, she's got plenty of room in here, and that's important because part of the breeding behavior, they need to move. They can't just be crammed up and twisted in a coil. So the Vision cages really serve that purpose really well. Now, something I did order was from Animal Plastics recently. I ordered a stack of cages, which are taking forever to come. It's been months. I haven't gotten them yet. And they're not quite as high as the Vision cages. They're a little on the less expensive side. They were on sale. I said, I'm going to try them. I'm going to maybe put my male carpet pythons in there and maybe some of the female grow-ups, see how that works. So I'll have to do a future review on those cages. I've got some good people who said the good stuff about it. Problem is they take a long time to ship. Vision is really good. They ship fast. ARS, super fast. And Freedom Breeder's pretty good as well. So it depends on how desperate you are to get the cages. My advice is to buy the cages ahead of time. Never wait till the last minute until you're desperate to get stuff, because then you're going to be greatly disappointed in how long it takes. When you don't need something, usually stuff arrives fast. When you need something, it never comes on time. That's just the way life is. So plan ahead, and if you see people selling old racks, even if you don't need them now, buy them if they're a good deal, because believe me, you will fill those racks up, I promise you. Here's my newest rack I just bought from someone online. It looks brand new. I mean, he gave me a pretty good deal. It wasn't super cheap, but I mean, the thing looks like it just rolled out of the showroom, and he delivered it to my house. So how can I say no to that, right? So this will be a rack that I will fill up eventually. I'm not looking to fill it up, but it will get filled up, and you know, we're ready to make a center aisle here. So that's the way it works. And that's my caging situation. For my blue-tongued skinks, I actually have, if you look over there, I have a rabbit hutch, 2 rabbit hutches. And I put them in there because I want to enable them to bask. A lot of people keep blue-tongued skinks in tubs, and they say they don't need lights, UV lights. Mine seem to do better with UV lights. I don't know. I think that they like to bask and they like to get that light, and I think that could definitely help with the breeding cycles. I've yet to breed my blue-tongued skink, so I don't know. But I went on Amazon and bought a couple cheap rabbit hutches, and it seems to serve its purpose well. So there's no such thing as having to have the same brand of everything. Uniformity is not necessary. It's what's functional. That is the key, and that is the message for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the little tour of my reptile room and all the different cages and tubs I have in here and rack systems. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button. We'll see you back tomorrow morning.